Airplane, za.
Flash forward to today, and some churches have flipped the gospel's message entirely. This is the world of the prosperity gospel, a theology that teaches faith should make you rich, and if you're still broke, the problem isn't the system, it's you. In this movement, material wealth and physical health are seen as signals of God's favor, while poverty and sickness are often blamed on a lack of faith or giving. Kenneth Copeland, a prosperity preacher famous for his megachurch, goes even further, teaching that donations are seeds that guarantee divine returns. He encourages followers to speak their desires into existence, promising that faith and giving will bring prosperity. Copeland's ministry has grown massively throughout television, but critics, including many church leaders, argue that his theology is dangerously materialistic and risks turning God into a cosmic bellhop who exists only to fulfill our desires. At its core, prosperity theology claims that God wants all his believers to be rich, often citing Old Testament figures like Abraham, who had become very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold. Preachers argue that if Abraham's faith brought material blessings, so should yours. But this interpretation ignores the broader biblical witness, which warns repeatedly about the dangers of wealth and the call to care for the poor. This message is not just theologically questionable. It can be spiritually and financially devastating. When the promised miracles don't come, believers are told it's their own fault for lacking faith or not giving enough. This blame can leave people poorer, more desperate, and feeling abandoned by God completely. But not all hope is lost. Across the world, there are Christian communities who refuse to trade the gospel's original message of love, charity, and service. Instead, they live out the original message, one rooted in justice, humility, and solidarity with the poor. Take the Catholic worker movement, founded by Dorothy Day in the midst of the Great Depression. Day's vision was simple but revolutionary: houses of hospitality for the homeless, communal farms, and a steadfast commitment to nonviolence and justice. For the Catholic worker, faith means sharing meals, opening homes, and standing with the marginalized, just as the early Christians did. Grassroots Christian mutual aid efforts also echo the early church's call to share with those in need. During the pandemic, countless churches organized food drives, rent relief, and direct cash assistance, often with little fanfare, but immense impact. This is the legacy of the first Christians described in Acts, and stand in contrast to the prosperity gospel's focus on individual wealth. What unites these resistance communities is a commitment to the gospel's original message, that God's love is most visible when we care for the least among us. They remind us that Christianity's true legacy is one of solidarity, not self-enrichment. In a world obsessed with status and success, these communities quietly insist that faith is about service, not status. They show us that the gospel's power is not in what we gain, but in what we give away.
A lot of society, these folks are the lepers of today.
It's out here. We come out to your guys' house to feed you, basically.
This is how I can serve Christ in a more tangible way. Francis said, pray for the poor and then feed them. Like I said, down here under the bridge, it is the poorest of the poor. There you go.
Thank you, you guys.
Do you need a water bottle? Do you want to sit over here on that stump there to eat your breakfast?
If one person would sponsor a homeless person to live in their backyard, there wouldn't be any homeless issues. We've always been the church of the poor, and I think the American church has forgotten.
The prosperity gospel promises that faith will make you rich, that God will reward belief with material success. But as we've seen in this video today, that message is incorrect. The Gospels and early Christian leaders called believers to humility, generosity, and to stand in solidarity with the poor, not to pursue wealth or status. Today, as some preachers amass fortunes and sell salvation to the highest bidder, millions are left struggling, shamed for their poverty, and told their faith isn't enough. But there is another way. Across the world, Christian communities are reclaiming the gospel's original call to serve, to share, and to stand with the marginalized. Their example reminds us that true faith isn't measured by what we own, but by how we care for others. In the end, the question isn't how much you give to a preacher, but how much you give of yourself to those in need. The real gospel was never about buying your way to heaven. It was about bringing heaven a little closer to earth. So now I ask you, whose gospel do you follow?